Now everyone, welcome to the MetalByBrian YouTube channel, and if you're wondering who the hell I am too. It has been a long time. It's been a while indeed. I've just been so ridiculously busy I haven't been able to crack on with me videos and whatnot. I'm going to give you a run through on everything that's been happening, including throughout the COVID situation. So I'm just going to run you through a few updates, what machines and equipment have had upgrades and work done to them. One of the projects that has sadly gone, and it's one of my main projects, so a lot of people are going to be disappointed, and there's going to be some progress updates on projects that have been on this channel for a long time, and unfortunately not going to see me working on it, because it hasn't been me that's working on it, it's been my dad. So he's just realised that I won't have time to crack on with it, and he's got on with it himself. So we'll show you what's happened with them. So let's get to it. So the first one is, of course, this 411 Westphalia. If you don't follow me on Facebook, chances are you've probably never even seen this. And if you do follow me on Facebook, chances are you've probably only seen this very briefly. My dad's just been cracking on with making this body for the back of it with the old Hiab on the back. It's going to be a nice usable machine just for chucking bags of logs on and rounds of logs on it. It's mounted in a triangular manner, triangulated frame. It's quite a simple system really. It's not, it's not the, what's the word I'm looking for, most epically structural sound mounting system. It's only lightweight because it's literally just going to be holding logs. It's not going to be holding tons and tons of stone. It's not going to have any sides on it or anything like that. It's just going to have these bits of timber on there and some tie downs for strapping the logs on the back. So I've got quite a soft spot for Westphalia 411s because it was the first Unimog I ever had, and then I sold it and I regretted it ever since. So I was dead chuffed when we got this. This is bought from Holland, but we did a bit of research into it, and I don't really if you contact Mercedes, this was originally imported into the UK apparently. So I don't know how it ended up in Holland, but it's quite an interesting history somewhere along the lines. So that's that. It's not going to be done up, essentially. It's going to be kept a fairly rough old bus just for tinkering around with, working with, and then one day maybe when I'm quiet, which is probably going to be in about 100 years time, I might pay a bit of attention to it and start doing some body work to it and whatnot. So, but yeah, 411B, this one with the so it's got a 3-piece axle, but then it's got the heavy back plates on the brake drums and stuff like that. So it's a 411B, 1964 or 5, this one I think. And then the old larder pig, real beast from the east. This has had a lot of work done to it since it was last on the YouTube channel. Put a full cage in it to FIA standards, and it's had all the rot taken out of it, all welded up. Doesn't have any mats in it anymore. It's this is Dinatrol on the floor. It needs a really good wash. I took it trialing maybe 2 months ago now, and then it just got parked up because I just haven't had time to look at it. It's a bit, it's a bit disappointing really. I really need to get it sorted because it won't be doing it any good being sat like this. Sparco safety harnesses, 3-point with a buckle on the back, so that I'm going to change these out for some Cobra Daytonas, which are tiltable, so I'll be able to have the seats in the back. So you literally do that, and then you reach around the back. A bit difficult one-handed. Unbuckle it, and it flips forward just like that. But the Cobra Daytonas will be a good upgrade. I was hoping to get some leather ones, but I don't know if I'll be able to afford them, or vinyl, whichever they are. All the cages TIG welded. I did it. It took quite a bit of thinking about, because obviously me and my dad are quite tall, so we have to make sure we get clearance for our heads. And then I updated the windows with some polycarbonate. So the windows are polycarbonate, 5mm polycarbonate. And then for security, what you can do is you can just bang the strap up and then shut the door with the strap in place. Stops it from coming down. I did a load of body work. I chopped the back arches out here and also around the top, so that the tyres don't catch anymore. And then finished off the flare, moved the flare back a couple of inches as well so they don't catch, and then notched the rear quarters as well to improve clearance. Took the rot out of the tailgate. You know, please don't forget that I really don't care that much about taking dents out and stuff on this, so it's not my best work in the world, obviously. It's just painted with the Raptor liner, tinted with, I couldn't believe it. I went to the paint shop that I go to all the time, and I gave them the factory paint code, and they couldn't get the paint off it, so they got the colour cards out for RAL codes. It showed me the colour cards for the RAL codes, and I just picked one at random. I just went, that'll do, and I brought it back and held the tin of paint against the car, and it was absolutely spot on, no difference whatsoever. So that code was, off the top of my head, it was RAL 1013, I think. If it wasn't, what I'll do is I'll put it in the description of this video to show what the actual code was. She needs a bit of attention. Of course, I did her all up, spruced her all up, got her looking absolutely tip top, and then first trial I did, I smashed the front corner in, so all this is buckled up, and a bit of rust has started coming through. My grill got smashed, kinked it back here and everything like that, so I've got to pay it a bit of attention again. This was all rotten out, so I've rebuilt all of this here, and like I say, first trial I went on, I smashed the front corner. I expected it. This is what I say, you know, when people kept saying to me, why don't you give it a good paint job and stuff like that, it's just a waste of my time really, because as soon as I take it trial and it just gets knackered up again, so not much point really. I just had a bit of time on my hands, so I thought I'd do it up good and proper. I got some, so I was on Interturbo Saharas originally, which they were all right for dry stuff, but as soon as you got in any mud, they didn't really care for it, which is we have a lot of mud in the UK, so I swapped out for the Fedima Scirocco's on Daihatsu steel wheels, and the performance is unbelievably better, and they're 100 load rating as well, so they're really soft ply, make a massive difference to the Niva with it being so light. And I notched this out as well. It just starts to catch just at this point here, when it's under absolute full flex, it just starts to catch, so that'll do me now. I'm really not, it's not there actually, it catches just there under full flex. I'm really not gonna kick up a fuss about that. It's a lot better than it was. It's got full poly bushes now, which you all know about. Had to rebuild this front corner as well here, not as bad as the other side, but it was still a fairly mammoth job. If you go on Facebook or my website, which is MetalByBrian.co.uk, you'll see all of this here that I've rebuilt. I need to get the bonnet sorted really. I should really just get a new bonnet because it's never fitted right anyway, and now that it's being clobbered by a tree again, it certainly doesn't fit right. So yeah, it's tinted windows as well, which isn't a big deal. And the sills, obviously, they're going to go black. I think I don't particularly like it in with the white sills. I'm not sure really. So yeah, that's the larder pig. I'm sorry I didn't get to do any videos on what I was doing with it. I just been that busy. I haven't had time for videos. I sorted the wiring out as well and put the ECU right up underneath the dash. The ECU is normally right down here in the bottom of the footwell. Eventually, all this wiring, ladder really are not famous for their quality of wiring. I'm going to make a new wiring loom for it, I think, given time. So that's the larder pig. All rot free now, at least if I get that bloody front left corner repainted, it will be. Stop the rot from engaging. See if I can't show you inside, but yeah, you get the idea. So she's had a lot of work done to her now, and she's, you know, this is, like I say, stuff like this here where I've rubbed up against the tree. That's why I don't like doing them up bling bling. It's just a waste of my time, really. So it'll end up back to how it was with all the paint patches and stuff like that, but I did like it like that, I can't deny. So under there's the diesel ray roll welder. Nothing much. If you go on my Instagram, MetalByBrian, all one word, you'll see I've made the panels ready to be fitted onto that. So that should really be fairly, given how many other jobs I get in. Really, the only thing that's stopping me from getting on with that now is time, because I've got all the panels sat waiting to be put on it, and then they can be painted after I've test fitted them. So if you go on my Instagram, you'll see all those panels that I've made for that. And then we've got the 416 Rally Mog. What's happened to that since you last saw it? Not much, really. In fact, I don't even think you've ever seen this, even on my Facebook page. It's kind of a top secret project, this, because there's certain things on it that we don't tell people that we're doing to it. Some fairly heavy engine modifications. And then the winch on the back, some of you might recognise what that winch is from even this angle, but that'll be like obscenely fast winching speeds. So it's had a few LED headlights in it. So yeah, that's a project we've had for a few years now, and we just never seem to get around to getting on with it. But we're hoping not this year, but the year after. As in not 2021 but 2022, we'll be able to get to the Breslau rally with that. Fingers crossed, we'll see. And then you all know the 1550. This is how my channel first started. It was the first video we ever did for the channel. I've put some new wings on it, some second-hand ones we had lying around. So they're just banged on. What we came to the conclusion of is we're aiming to do 2021 Breslau rally in this, just for a bit of fun. We're not aiming to be too competitive. We might even enter it in the discovery class, which is where you aren't officially a competitor. So everything's just put on. I mean, this side went absolutely spot on. The other side's got a bit of misalignment, but I mean, it is what it is. That's why we've done it. I haven't done the only bit of welding on this that I've done is fit these wings. That's all I've done. My dad just realised I wouldn't have the time, and he just got on. So if you go and look at that original video, you'll notice he's built all this, rebuilt all of this, all the footwells, absolutely everything. All this back section here is rebuilt, and that's on both sides, driver's side and passenger side. It's got a plastic fuel tank on it, which it's a common argument in the world of off-roading. Are you better off with a plastic tank which will bend and, you know, bounce back when you hit it, or are you better off with a steel one which will bend but has more chance of splitting, but you can fix it, you know, you can repair it easily. So it's an argument. That's actually off a 817, I think, or is it a 13-ton truck? It might be a 13-ton truck, that, but they're the same size anyway. Got the subframe off the back for the crane. That's gone. Just the back panel now that needs doing. I think I'm going to be doing that. He's asked me to do that, so I'll get around to that. And then I've got to rebuild the doors as well. I think he's wanted me to rebuild the doors. So all that rotten at the bottom there. What I'll do is I'll just completely chop all this out and just make custom door bottoms from the factory there. They're absolutely horrific rock trappers, so I'll just get rid of that completely. There it is. That's rebuilt. So he rebuilt all this. He's done a really smart job of it. The box sections underneath are rebuilt as well. So tip top really, absolutely spot on. Lovely job. This is a 1970 Mark III Davrion that I've got in at the moment. It's having full suspension reinforcement, so I've made all that aluminium bit there, and it's having the same on the back. It's having an engine cradle made for the back as well. It's all Hillman Imp running gear underneath, so and it's having a full FIA spec roll cage, so that's got to be done to historic as well, historic rally class. And then, like I say, it's having a full engine cradle to go over the top, because the back cross members rip out of these with them being fiberglass. So full engine cradle across the top, and that'll be a fun one to make. That's going to be out of aluminium as well. So that's a fairly privileged to be working on that, really. A fairly rare car. And then this is the main job at the minute. This is a mammoth task. It's a SBU LBU crew cab. I think it's off 1650, this one. And you can see where I've fully rebuilt all of the underside, right up to here, full rebuild. It's a mammoth task. I've rebuilt the doors as well. See if I can get them in for you. So the bottom of the doors have been rebuilt. Had to just replace this door. It was easier, cheaper in the long run. Rebuilt the bottom of the A pillar, bottom of the B pillar, and the bottom of the C pillar. Fabricated all these panels here. All these have been fabricated. Rebuilt that there. Rebuilt that, and then the front sections. Most of the panels you can get, but I'm going to have to fabricate. I'm waiting for a scrap cab to come, so I can take this panel here off and make a template for this panel, because that's a fairly mammoth panel to make, especially as it's 1.5mm steel. This, so it's a really technical panel to make, because it comes across, sweeps around like that, and then it also sweeps that way. It's a really big panel to make that. So I'm quite looking forward to it, and at the same time a bit conscious that it might not be the easiest panel to make. So don't know how cost effective it'll be, but I've got this far, so it's got to be done. So I mean, that's what I started off with, stuff like that. This other side, this side was even worse because it was all hanging off. This is just about holding itself together. So yeah, it's been an epic job that. Got to rebuild all these as well here, these cross members, outriggers. So and then there's a bit to the roof lining. The back of the cab isn't too bad on this, unusually. It's very good condition, so it's the only bit on it that really is in any good condition. I've got to rebuild the bottom of the windscreen and all this bit here. This is where the bonnet sits. They always rot out here. So yeah, fairly mammoth job this. I got 3 of these to do potentially, but I'm just wondering whether it might be more worthwhile to get a military cabin and just convert it to a crew cab. Probably more cost effective, really. We'll see. And this is my latest project. This is going to be the work bus, come camper, come everything. It's a 307D. Those of you that know your stuff will have instantly looked at that engine and said that's not a 616. And you're right, it's a 601, so somebody's put a 601 engine in it. But it was fitted from the factory, obviously, to the 308D, so it's perfectly alright to be in there. It's a bit better, it means I don't have to adjust all the valve clearances and everything all the time, so makes me happy, gives me a bit more power. Substantially, obviously, about 80 compared to 70 horses. Driving this back from London, I got a mighty 71 miles an hour out of it, revving the nuts off it. So, but got all the way back from London, no problems whatsoever, so can't complain about that. It was originally from Holland, and it's got a spectacularly solid chassis. It's one of the things that sold me on it, really. Unbelievably solid, especially for a 1979 van. unreal how solid the chassis is. Just somebody's been at it with the welder, and yeah, stuff like that makes me cry. But we'll gloss over that. I've got some new wings coming for it, a new bonnet. Got this, the back of the arch coming, and I got some new steps coming for it as well. The floor is very thin, so I think I'm just going to replace that anyway. But I'll cobble something up for that. I'll make some panels for that. Might make some fancy pressings for it and whatnot. Get it looking pretty spangled. And then the beds, I'm going to take the bed off and make a lower one. It's going to be about 140mm lower than this bed. It's going to give it that bit more of a retro look, and it'll also make it better because I'm going to make a camper pod for the back, so the camper pod can be lower, obviously, and it'll also make it better for having cars on. And it's going to have a canvas tilt that will go over the top as well, so when I'm transporting expensive cars that don't want to be outside, they can be protected from the elements. And that's going to be made out of aluminium, the back body, I've decided. I'm going to press some panels. They're going to look like the originals, but lower, 140mm shorter. So, because I like the factory, but it's just too tall, and obviously aluminium will be nice and light. And then the sides, I'm going to keep the wooden sides as well. The sides are going to stay wooden. I'm going to keep these latches because I like them, really nice and retro. Pretty cool looking latches, so make me happy. And then the floor, I'm going to you can get pressed panels, so it's just going to have those like you see them on car transporters, where the ratchet strap can tie into them. So it's going to have that, and then I think in the middle I'm going to make it so the ramps can slide up the middle. The ramps might be somewhat like the same length as the bed, maybe a bit shorter, and then they'll essentially complete the bed when they're slotted into place. So try and make it as ergonomic as possible, really. So that's that. Fairly simple. The reason I got it is 1979, so it's tax-free. That's the main advantage of it. And I've always wanted a T1, and it's just perfect really for a coach building business. It's got that classic side to it, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get it looking fairly spang-angled, because it's going to have my company name on it and everything like that, so it's going to be fairly tip-top when I'm done with it. So that's that basically. Now, some of you might already realise what's gone by now by the fact that it hasn't been featured in this video, and that is the Red Bear. I was pretty gutted to see it go, but the fact of the matter is I just wasn't going to get time to get it done. I had to get my priorities right. And what comes first is a vehicle that's useful for transporting all other vehicles, any body shells and stuff like that. And the Red Bear was literally just going to be a toy. So the van comes first because it's, number one, it's usable as a works truck, and number two, I can make a camper pod that goes on the back of it. Number three, I can even have it as my daily driver. So that's 3 jobs it does. Whereas the Red Bear, I could have had it as my daily driver, but I did have plans for it which would make it less useful as a daily driver. So, you know, pros and cons, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to use it as a camper, and I wouldn't have been able to use it for transporting car shells and cars and stuff like that around. So that's why I've just had to get my priorities right and make a decision in life. So the Red Bear, I might get a left-hand drive shell, because that was the other disadvantage of the Red Bear, being right-hand drive. Some parts are hard to come by, and also when I go rallying abroad, right-hand drive can be a disadvantage because you can't see when you're trying to bloody overtake people. So things like that, you just got to put into context. So bit of a sad news, but that build thread might get, like I say, reinstated in the future when I get a bit more time on my hands, and I find a left-hand drive shell, or even a full car really, that I can work with and carry on with it basically. So sorry about that, but these things happen. I've still got one Neva, so, and you'll be seeing more of that, I'm sure. And that's it. Just wanted to wish you all season's greetings, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas. Hopefully this year is going to be better than the year just been. Obviously I don't think it can be much worse really. We've had worse years in this world, but it's been pretty bad, hasn't it? Thanks for watching. I'll try and get more media uploaded. I do get people asking me when my next video is going to be, and I keep having to tell them, you know, I've just got so much to getting on with. I can't complain, I'm busy, so it's good stuff. Thanks for watching. Cheers for now.